So let's continue on, and this is part 5 of this Crosshair series. So what we're going to do next is to draw this cloud label at the bottom, and then eventually have the text as well. So I'm going to scroll down here, and let's look at our before, and probably here what we can do. Well, first of all, I notice here something. I'm going to say ctx.save. There we are. Oh no, so not save, but restore to undo everything, whatever we did. And then what I want to do here is going to say here a after datasets draw. The reason why I'm doing that is I want to have it here down, and I'll do it after, so it will avoid, if ever the point would hit somewhere at the very bottom, it will avoid being underneath it. So we're going to say here chart arcs and plugin options. Then we're going to say here object destructuring. I'm just going to grab this one here above, put it in there. Same logic. And then here we're going to say ctx.save, and then let's start to think what we need. First of all, we're going to create a cloud. Then we're going to create the text of that. So to do this, we're going to use almost similar logic, but repetition is the mother of all learning, so I will just repeat most of it. But probably if you understand it, you will be able to quickly follow through here. So what I'm going to say here, ctx.beginPath. And here we're going to create this new shape. Then we're going to say ctx.fillStyle. And the fill style in this case will be just the same color here. So we're going to grab this or just put it there. That might be fine. Then what I want to do here is I'm going to say ctx.round rectangle, and then in here the x, the y, the width, the height, and the radius. Since the radius, I'll just keep it similar, and I'll say value 4. The height, we can give maybe 20 pixels, because we have our font will maybe be 12 pixels in size. The width will be dynamic based on the measuring of the text that we're going to use. The x and y coordinates, well, we have to work on that one. So we're going to figure out now, where are we going to put this specific item? And by item, I mean like the position of our hoovering, of course. Let's see. I think we already get it here. I guess we can even grab this one. Almost same. Let's try the same logic here for now. Put that in there. And then for the height or the y value, we're going to say the bottom. If I save this, I need to make sure we have ctx.fill to draw the shape. Save this. Refresh. Alright, interesting. We get an error. Unexpected identifier after event. Of course, make sure you have a comma. Save, refresh. Nearest date is not defined. Alright, what is going on here? Oh, that's probably this one here. So for the nearest date that we have here, we have this logic, I realize. So we're going to grab that and fix this one here. I'll just put it in here for now. I'm sure that there's a better way to do it, but let's keep it like that for now to get through this video. The W is not defined, which is the width. Alright, I'm going to say here 20, and if I just save that, we should see here something. I realize it's really hard to spot this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give this 40, but I'm going to make this a solid color. Save that, refresh. There we are. So that looks much better. It's easier to spot, and you can see it overlaps on top of the scale, which is exactly what I want. So what I want to do now is I want to make sure it's positioned well. So with the width, we have already the text width, or we need to get the text here. So I'm going to say a constant, and you can say here text width as well. And then here we're going to say here ctx.measure the text, and then here dot width. So what is the value in here? Well, what is exactly that I want to show? That's a good question. Probably I'm just going to put in here 100 as a text. This is a string value for now, and just grab this, and later on we have to convert this into the date here. So that will be another item that we have to consider. So to do this, I'm going to check here in a round rec, and then we have here the 40. We'll make this the text width. Doing that, position this here, maybe 100 plus 20 pixels. There we are. But of course then, what I need to do is I need to position our rounded rectangle here as well. I'm going to say here minus whatever is the text width, divide by 2. And of course prioritize this. It should be already prioritized, but just to emphasize that, there we are. So now it's nicely in the center. What we're going to do now is get the text. And the text, what I want to have is July 4, and then the year as well. So that will mean that it needs to be even bigger depending on what we have. So let's start to work on that, and then later on we can play around to fix this. So I'm going to say here, so let's see what we need here for the text itself. So for the text, what we need is, well, let's see here, constant. Well, we don't need a constant, we need this text width. We're going to make on that one. But what I will do here then is ctx, and then we say font. I'm going to say here, let's make this bold. Put in 12 pixels sans serif. Then what I want to do is give it a proper color. Since this is a solid reddish color, let's give it a white color. So we'll say fill style equals white. Then what I want to do here is say ctx.fill text, and the fill text here will be whatever the text is, comma, x and y position. So we had here the nearest, and I think we can probably grab this one again. We can just basically grab the fill text. I think we can grab this entire coordinates here. Let's see if that one works. And for the y will be bottom as well. Save that, refresh. Alright, we get an error. Let's double check here. 126, we get an error here. Probably I am missing a parenthesis. There we are. Put a parenthesis in there, save, refresh. Fail to execute fill text on canvas 3. Alright, 126, comma, comma. Alright, so the parentheses need to be here, not there, because this should be prioritized in the deduction. And that is argument number 2, argument 3, and argument 1. That's why it says we only have 2 arguments, we should have 3. Alright, save that, refresh, there we are. So now we're getting it. You can see the text is slightly off. Let's reposition this. So, although I have a feeling that this might not be even necessary. Let's save that, refresh. There we are. We can push it already down. Basically, all we have to do is to push it down. How many pixels? If we know the height is about 20, so we can say here, in the bottom, we add additional 10 pixels. That looks quite nice. Now, what I need to do is convert this text. So, to do that, let's see, we're going to use this. Here we have the text. We have to do it before we make the cloud. So we're going to say constant. And this constant here, we can say what I want is basically the year, the month, and the date. So I'm going to give it a simple term like that. Then what I want to say here is, I want to get the nearest date that we have here. And we can just say here, dot get full year. And then we can say here plus, and then we're going to here concatenation. Dash, if you want the dash or comma, what you can do here, we say, here I want the year, then what I want to have is the month. So we're going to say here, just the same thing. Plus dot, and we can say here get month. And then plus, concatenate dash, and then nearest date, dot, and then we can say here get date, which is basically the date number. So if I save that, copy this, put it in here, and change this text to here, save, refresh, unexpected identifier on nearest date 116. Alright, nearest date here. Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to get nearest date, nearest date, nearest date. Of course, concatenation need to be plus and plus. Save that, refresh. I think we're missing another plus here. Get full year is not a function. Let me double check. And of course, I see here my mistake. So sorry about this. This is a real tricky topic. So you can see here we have this and we have the set dates and hours. So what I need to do is I just need to remove all of that. So what I'm going to do, just to simplify it, just remove all of this. I'll say here, this will be number 2 for now. Just put this number 2, and number 2, if I save that. Now we get the expected date. Alright, so the other one was like here, we was adjusted into setting a different time, and then or setting the hours, and that's not allowed. It will give you a different structure. So make sure you have it as a complete date object that is clean without modifications. So that's the only thing here. But now we have that working, and you can see here now this works. You can see that probably need to fine tune it later on, moving the scale a little bit to the left or right, depending on if we are close to the end. But that will be another video. For now, what I do want to do is, or at least for the next video, we're going to make the dotted line that when we hover over an item, that we get the specific value here, and then show the value at the side here.